So I request you all to use chat box for all your questions, and please make sure that the questions are not triggering or hurting anyone's sentiment. We are here as a community trying to help each other out. So please be chill, sensitive, and humane. Apart from that, in general, there might be questions or instances or situations which might be calculated in the current life, which could be triggering for some people. So please make sure that you are aware and are alert with that. And if you are not ready for it as a person, we will send a lot of support after the session in our story. You can go and follow them and go ask help for them. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I am Tanvi from the Cyberblog India team, and I will be your host for the evening. This is going to be our third Instagram live session to run up to 1,022 the conference named Harassment and Cyber Perceived Notions of. The conference to initiate discussions on the threats faced by the LGBTQIA+ community, members on the internet, to facilitate sharing of niche stories and first-hand experience of community members, and to raise awareness of the challenges faced by the community while dealing with cybercrime incidents. To know more about the conference, I request you to follow our Instagram page or drop a text on our helpline number, which you can find on our previous contact details. If you need any other aid or want to report, you can also text us on our WhatsApp helpline number. If you can see and hear me and Patruni properly, please give us thumbs up or hearts in the comment section. It will be really great.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a, like a tone voice which is coming. Like, I think there's a little bit of a miss of voice is what I'm trying to see.
Is it background noise?
Yeah, not background, but it's like the voice is a little bit getting chopped in between.
Okay.
For me.
Let me just.
I will pick up the fan. I think now it's better. And now it's better.
Okay, better. Okay. All good?
Yeah, all good. So I will start off with my makeup, which is basically gluing my, eyebrows, because I want to be this alien. So let's see how exactly that goes. People usually use blue glue. I'm just using normal stick brown glue because I can't afford a blue glue for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so until you do that, I'll give you an introduction about Patruni to everybody. Patruni is a classical dancer, an intrapreneur, a customer service expert. They started dancing at the age of 7. Their unique style called Expressionism is a way to tell awareness society about stories which have not been heard. They have previously collaborated for dance performances with organizations like Mobbera Foundation, Good Universe, Miss Namma Pride, Human Liberty Library, and Humsafar Trust. Patruni has also been performing Tranimal Drag under the drag name of Suffocated Art Specimen, S.A.S. Their drag style brings unique footprint of anti-art queen. Tranimal Drag Art has been given a new Indian approach with their style. With S.A.S, they have presented multiple performances at places like Hyderabad Literature Festival, TTSO, and TTCO. They have listed as a top performer in Pink Leaves. Patruni has also co-founded Dragvanti, an online space for drag community in India. Thank you so much for the invitation to be part of our conference. If there's anything I've missed out, please go ahead and add it.
Yeah, I think that was like too much. Thank you so much for telling it, because I think life has given me the opportunity to kind of it is a journey. Like, I think I'm kind of evolving with that. Yeah. So I just need my teeth. I need to kind of tap it with a powder, but I'm too lazy for doing it. I'll try it, but I'm still kind of a little bit lazy to kind of do it. So what I do is I'm doing something which is yellow in color. So my color for today is yellow. So you'll find a lot of yellow things around me. Something like I think Simpson is what I'm kind of looking at as an inspiration. So let's see. Start with the yellow itself. So there's no certain pattern. I'm just tapping it everywhere. Yeah.
Okay. So Patruni, before we go ahead, I want to ask you, how did your journey as a dancer and now as a drag artist start on internet?
So I think my journey has basically started in a really kind of as a dancer, it was quite natural, because when I was at the age of 5, I started watching a lot of Telugu films, and my first movie which I kind of got attracted was called Padiyappan, which is a Tamil dub Telugu movie. And the movie Ramya Krishna, which is who is the heroine, also somebody who starred in the great magnum opus Bahubali. She's the same person who's actually also a heroine of that movie, and she is rejected by the hero, and that's the very interesting part. Like she's rejected by the hero, so hence she's angry. She screams out loud and dances. So when I saw it for the very first time, I thought like if you're angry, you have to scream out loud and dance, otherwise people will not take you seriously. That became my my part of living. Like at any point in time, my mom was not giving me anything, or I was not given some kind of request which are not given to me. I will scream out loud and dance, which still I do. So that is how I kind of grew up. My father again comes from a little bit of a cultural background. So he was the one who said, like, if we leave this person this way, he'll become Michael Jackson, which we can't afford. So it's better to kind of tame him and flip it into classical dance. So that's how I got introduced to classical dance. So for the very first few times, I started learning Bharatanatyam. Then moved to Odissi because my place or wherever I was staying, Bharatanatyam was not no more accessible because I was in Odisha for a while. And then as and where we kind of moved because of traveling or studies, I picked up one song from each place. Like I picked up Kuchipudi from when I was studying in Andhra. I picked up the Odissi from Bhubaneswar. So on and so forth. I learned around three basic forms of dance. One is Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, and Odissi. So this was happening, and this was kind of going on. I came to Hyderabad where I was doing my job, and as a part of my job itself, I was settled in the job first, and then going ahead and started working with what we say, I attended a event, which is a queer event for the very first time. And then that's the same time I got to know about the queer community. And then I performed for one of the event. And that's how, I think that's the starting point. Like I started performing for queer events and then the event after event came out, it was a journey both with my art as well as with my drag, like with my dance. Drag came in the later half of it. Like once I was already known as a dancer, before I was trying to catch up drag. And when it came to the existence, when I was performing in one of the event in Bangalore, there was my first drag live performance was in Bangalore. It was Bangalore Pride, and I saw a couple of drag queens perform there. The first drag queen was really sweet, nice, wonderful. The second drag queen was somebody who's kind of thrashing, trolling everybody who's there on the floor. So I had a really kind of a mixed reactions, like, what is this? I can't afford because, it's like there is a huge amount of, I would say, privilege in investing on those things. And I don't think that I would kind of fall into any of them. So that was one of the major reasons I didn't want to perform drag in the very first place. But what kind of changed is definitely, once I got back to Hyderabad and once I saw that, there is a dearth of drag and there's an importance of especially nightlife events in Hyderabad because, queer nightlife is something which is really important for people to kind of, nightlife for queer persons are itself a great opportunity to express themselves. And there's a dearth of nightlife that actually restricts a lot of people in a lot of ways. So I thought like, this has to end. That's how I thought like, let's start with drag first. Let me just ensure that we don't have a, I would say a drag space or block. We should have the drag community as well. So with that note, I started doing drag in Hyderabad. So one of the best things which happened for me was, I am the very first, first lineup of drag queens from Hyderabad, which was not a usual case, and that helped me in creating my own community, like starting it from the scratch. So I don't have to, go to an establishment which is already established, but I have to start it from the basics. So it gave me multiple directions of learning it. Like firstly, I was learning as a performer to perform with the audience. Secondly, as a curator, because I was trying to curate the events according to the audience. And thirdly, it comes like, also event organizer, because I have to organize the entire event, which I am performing. So it gave me multiple perspectives of it. And that's how the journey has started. And even the city has evolved since then. Like they are now accepting, they're kind of listening to a lot of drag artists and kind of looking into how exactly they perform. So yeah, that was how the entire thing started.
I think your drag as well is very different from the mainstream drag or how the drag has been perceived by us so far. So do you want to describe what kind of drag you do and what exactly is the ideas behind it?
So what I do is basically called as it's called as Tranimal Drag or Trashy Drag, because as a person, I couldn't relate to something which is called as beauty, but I wanted to redefine my own idea of it. So hence I kind of chose to this, where I would say that I will do something which is a nuanced approach of what we usually see as beauty. So hence it became a little bit relevant for me to choose this aspect of it, like the tranimal or the trashiness, than that of the normal, beauty aspect. Being trashy is something which is again, people think that drag is again something which is being done because of privilege. So I wanted to break that notion as well. Okay, is the color over here? I'm not able to see it. So yeah, so I wanted to kind of break that thing as well. Hence, I chose this form of drag, which was more kind of implying and more kind of trashy than normal.
It's actually beautiful. So you did mention that you were working since very young age, and you also began the whole movement inside the queer community with very early. So do you think that the way you were perceiving yourself and the way you were expressing yourself pre 377 abrogation is same as how you're doing it right now, or has it changed and given you more freedom to do the same thing?
So I think it has definitely changed. Changed as in, now we have better terminologies to kind of define. Now we have, people are listening to. Initially, there were no people. We don't know that, okay, there's a safe space. Those words were not something which was relevant. We were not aware about, what will happen next and so on and so forth. But now it became a little bit easier for us because we have terminologies which would define us. We have things which are kind of, will keep us in a far more space of knowledge as compared to any of the others. So I think that was a benefit of, being a post, 377 queer, I could say. Now, it definitely was something which was a little bit easier for me, kind of, because of, when I kind of grew up, definitely there was a lot of, I would say, queerphobia and all. But as and when it just, post 377, I came out. Immediately after 377 is when I kind of came out and I said, see, listen, I want to kind of say that I'm gender fluid. At that time, I was the only one who was gender fluid in my city. But after a while, now today, if I see the situation, it's different. Like, there are so many gender fluid people. So I think that the words, the accessibility has definitely changed post 377, and we know the law that even if tomorrow somebody is coming ahead and telling me that it's illegal or so, I can have an answer. I can say that, okay, this is, how can you say that it's illegal? Now I look like a potato. So that's how we do it.
Okay. So do you have any story where, like post 377 or P 377, where you were you were facing some kind of harassment online, where just because you were trying to deconstruct the whole idea of beauty, you were facing a lot of backlash from the community and society?
Yeah, not only beauty, but not only with drag, but as a queer person itself. And I was dating, to be honest. I think half of the people might know, some of them I haven't opened up much about it. But when I was kind of initially dating in Hyderabad, so there was one really kind of a nasty instance which happened. Like I was dating somebody, particularly a man in Grinder, and that's the time I was kind of looking into it. There was some exchange of photographs, and immediately after a certain point in time, this man texts me at we were supposed to meet and have an interaction, and this person says, tells me that I live in the same apartment. They call me on the intercom of my house, which is a shared flat with 3 or 4 more people. And he says like, I will kind of out you in people. I will ensure that your pictures are being released and so on and so forth. So as a person, I was, because I was involved with queer people, or I was involved with queer organization, I was able to understand, okay, this is something where we can seek help. But that is not the usual case. And, when he kind of threatened me of opening up or kind of calling me out, putting me out in public, it was really scary situation for me. How would it kind of, I gathered a little bit of strength and I walked into a police station and kind of complained. So unless and until once I started complaining, that's where the police understood, okay, there is something which is, which we need to understand, or which we need to support. And from there, that this person was caught and he was a married person with a child, with a wife. The wife was not aware about the sexuality in the very first place, or whatever he was, assuming. So we have to de-escalate things. We have to ensure that he's safe, and gave him a counseling that you should not be doing certain things in this way, or should not create harm for the community. So this whole thing happened. That was the very first time when I kind of it was just because I shared my pictures openly on Grindr. Hence, this situation kind of came in. After that, I think I became more conscious about where exactly I'm posting my pictures or sharing it, and it became also liberating for me to be open about who I am as a person. So that happened. After that, yeah, definitely because of drag queens are always on the forefront of getting hate because they think that people think that drag queens are punchbags. Any artist is a punchbag, and when it comes to putting out their views, they will tell that okay, you don't look beautiful, you don't look like XYZ drag queen from the RuPaul's Drag Race, so you should stop doing drag because they have only a certain kind of a visionary of drag in itself. So I think those are the things which I kind of had a problem with, but eventually it changed. Eventually it became a little bit happy space for me to kind of show or kind of get support. I think one of the best thing which I got to learn from social media experiences, like you should not take anything personally, and people hate the other person because they can't do it themselves. So I'm in a happy space. I'm telling that I can do it myself. So if you can't do it yourself, I'm sorry for you. I can't do anything else. So yeah, that is something which I would say.
Totally. I think your stories are very inspiring, the way you've grown from them. Uh, what are your tips for all our audience about how to use dating apps as a queer person?
I think one of the things which people need to know is like understand with whom you're talking and who might be your audience. Because at times dating apps, especially if it's a queer dating app, there are high chances that the people who are there in that dating app might not be queer themselves. They might be don't trust anybody easily. Is what I'm trying to say. Like trust it with a pinch of salt. No, I'm not using black now. I'm really afraid of using it. I'll use some other color. So yeah, I think one person has to understand those aspects that like don't trust a person easily, don't give away your credit cards, be a little bit careful when you are interacting with people. And this is once you develop that trust, it's always better to take baby steps.
Totally. And I think one more question which I derive from your the story which you told me right now. How was your dealing with the police in general? Is Indian police even cautious or even aware of how to deal with such cases?
So, Hyderabad police, to be honest, are a little bit aware, like especially the Telangana police, because the people in Hyderabad who have been working over here, like there are a lot of queer, as a trans activist, have been constantly working over here. They ensure that there's a lot of sensitization which is happening for them. So that is something which puts Hyderabad in a better space. But as a whole, if I'm seeing, they didn't ask me any kind of nasty questions, or why are you doing it? Why did you give the numbers? They're not queerphobic for sure, and they were kind of really open and, listening to it. And they thought, I think they are already aware, is what I'm kind of understanding. There's no kind of, I haven't got any issues with the police which I kind of met in. But when it comes to the other states or other, tier two or non-urban cities, that's the biggest problem. When I went ahead and said to the policeman that this is what happened, firstly, he didn't even assume that okay, this other person might be man. He just asked more details about it. He thought there are multiple situations when it comes to the other person as well, whether he's a homosexual, and he was the one who advised me would you like to go ahead and out this person in front of the family because that might cause a really kind of damper ham. As you are also a queer individual, so you need to also understand that what will be the pre-effects of it. So I think those were some of the learnings which the policeman has given to me, and they're kind of not somebody who has. Okay, not somebody who has questioned, you should not be doing it. Even after the entire instance, I learned it for myself, but the policeman never judged me. So I think that was the beauty part of it.
That's beautiful. It's actually a little hopeful to even hear stories like this, that at least there's an accountability just coming from one other end of it.
Yeah, and I think the credit for this doesn't definitely, is definitely going to people or the activists who are there in the Hyderabad circuit. For example, I know a lot of trans, activists over here who has done a relentless work, in sensitizing the police system. There's a trans clinic which is, sorry, there's a trans helpline number which is being given by the Hyderabad police, who's kind of, ensuring that if there is any kind of a situation, the police are coming first and kind of, helping people out. So I think those are the efforts which are kind of making it fruitful.
Totally. I think the queer community's growth over last 2 or 3 years post the abrogation of 377 has been because of the communities like those which have come forward and given really, really good ways and templates of designing how it should be and how
Yeah,
it should be equal for everybody.
indeed.
So the next question is that do you think and there's any pros and cons of being an influencer or an activist on Instagram or any other platform where you are trying to be where you're trying to bring queer stories in the frontier of the whole queer community?
So I think definitely there's a pro because you are becoming you're kind of telling the story out in public, and that kind of helps a lot of people who are actually either seeing you or kind of understanding you in their own way. But I think the cons basically are the people take it for the face value. Even if I'm kind of saying sometimes I do every human being says the wrong thing, and as a person that is something which should not be taken for face value. You should rather research and kind of come back with a better questions for us to see whether we are telling it right or wrong. I think that is a problem which is being there, and there's a lot of hate. There's a lot of presumption which is being there. So when I said that I was a bisexual person married to a cisgender woman, there was a lot of presumption that okay, he might be telling lies, or he might not be open about his sexuality to people or to the partner. So those are the presumptions which are usually being made. But I think an active conversation would kind of resolve those kind of things, and you know help in making it more refined or better.
Totally. Uh, and when you opened up about your relationship and your marriage, what kind
Yeah.
of reaction did you get from your community?
So I think there were two kinds of reactions. One was a reaction which came out of concern, if I could say, concerned about whether I am being forced to something which which is a usual case of multiple queer people or especially gay men where they are being forced by the family to go into an extent of getting married. That was the kind of a biggest concern which a lot of people had or kind of expressed when I kind of opened up about my my marriage. The second was definitely the concern about whether I told that whether I'm aware, whether my partner is aware about my sexuality. So that was the other situation.
So did you get any hate speech because of all of that and when you were opening up about it?
Yeah, I did. A lot of people kind of called me straight for a until my partner came back as a person and told that I know that sexuality. So till then I was being boycotted from a lot of queer events. I was not allowed to perform. Kind of people called out that I was having privilege of being a straight person and kind of performing in a queer space. So those things have also kind of happened.
Okay. And how did you actually go back and how was the comeback of you in the queer community?
So I think one thing which kind of helped me was my queer friends. They were kind of really supportive. So people who know me as a person. So they took the onus of ensuring that my placement is being correct. So they were the ones who kind of became the social support for me as a person, and that kind of helped me in building my stance in a far more better way.
It's beautiful to see that. Do you think that in queer community, when you are opening up initially, the best way out and the best way of aid and support is from other queer members or friends who are already open about their sexuality on internet or to family or to other community members in general?
So I think yeah, that is definitely true because queer where communities work in such a way that we chose our families, and when you choose your family, you have the you get to inspired by other stories as well, and it's not like we learn from other people is what I kind of believe in, and what I kind of saw as well. I learned about my sexuality because there were a lot of say there were people out there when I was kind of coming out. So I learned about it because there were a lot of bisexual people who were actually kind of taking the bi pride forward. So I think that was something which was really I would say helped me or inspired me in coming out or learning about my sexuality.
So when you came out to your family, what was their reaction to it?
So I came out first as a gender fluid person. So that was my first terminology or label, which I kind of used for the very first time. So as a parent who were non-English speaking people, they didn't understand it. So I have to break that down to them, telling that okay, gender fluid is somebody who is actually who doesn't belong to one particular gender. The gender is fluctuating, or it kind of moves from one place to the other. So that is something which I have to kind of give them away firstly. So after that, I think I came out as a pansexual after a lot of time. Like it was not definitely immediate, but it was around once I started drag. Once they saw that I was doing drag and they're comfortable with it, that's when I kind of opened up about my my other part or my sexuality. Yeah.
And what was their reaction to it? Were they initially giving you some very stereotypical cultural notions to it, or were they actually supportive in fact?
So my father told me one thing, which was like I couldn't understand whatever you're trying to say. I don't know what you're trying to say, or I haven't heard it before. I just heard about two sexualities, or what is called as what is being a trans person, or what they see as a trans person in the society, and I don't know anything which is apart from this. So if I'm not kind of if I'm not resonating, or if I'm not making you feel better with my existence, you need to tell me that. You need to tell me that okay, you are getting bothered by something which I'm saying. I'm not born as a parent from the time I was born with. I didn't have a parental book. I learned it as people told me. So it's your responsibility to tell me that this is why you want to be in this particular way. So I think that was something which was really important. I tried to explain him. I tried to give him a lot of resources to tell that okay, this is what I feel. You should not say this things to me, so on and so forth. And time and again, if they are not understanding a certain part or question, they come back and have a conversation. So I think that was a better space which my mom and dad definitely has left me for to explore and to educate them with me, or whenever I'm kind of going ahead and doing a certain thing.
That's actually very beautiful and even very hopeful to even hear from you. What tips do you have for somebody who is right now not opening up to their parents or their family? How could they talk better with them?
What I would say is don't, there's no reason of opening up in the very first place. The hyper idealification of coming out is something which needs to stop immediately, because not everybody has to open, and there's no right age or right time to open up yourself. If you feel that you'll feel better by opening up, yeah, go for it. Like tell them that, okay, I'm feeling better with this. So that is the onus of that is on you to decide when to open up and when to not. And it's always important, like understand that the other person might always not take you in a positive way. So it's again your responsibility to kind of tell it to them that you need to how I feel, and educate them on a regular basis, and then like not go ahead and tell it in one particular day that oh I'm bi or I'm gay, because that doesn't help in them understanding what you want. Because they are also somebody who might be very new for this, for this coming out for this experience. So I think that is something that need to be done and need to be known. And after that, people can definitely own up and tell it to people that, I'm feeling in this way. But first educate, start with basics, and then, open up and again tell it that, it's not always required to open up as well. There's no one sort reason that, okay, if you'll open up, things will be good for you. No, it's never like that.
That's actually a brilliant way of putting it forward. So I have a very interesting question, and I think previous Instagram influencers who have been with us in the last two sessions have also brought really interesting ideas and really interesting perspectives for the same. And now you being a drag artist could actually bring a whole new nuance to it. And that is about cross-dressing and how media, television, and film industry is encouraging and making it a topic of laughable or like hilarious conversation. What is your perspective on cross-dressing?
So I think cross-dressing can be, for some, it's a various differences. Like, it's not something same for everybody, if I could say it in that way. Like, for some, cross-dressing might be a way of seeing their own self, or for some it might be a modem of gender expression. For some it might be even fetish, or exploring their sexual feelings to others. For some it might be just nothing but wearing a pant and t-shirt. So it's just it's just not one way or the other, but it's something which is kind of open for multiple, I would say, for multiple perspectives. So always see cross-dressing as I don't like the word cross-dressing in the very first place. If I'm putting as cross-dressing, and what is cross-dressing? Like, we are putting it again in binaries. So that is something which is which is kind of a little bit frustrating. But having said that, one has to understand what exactly the purpose of it. Don't go ahead to anybody who is wearing a dress not kind of showcasing their gender expression and call them as cross-dressers, because for some it might be just a way of expression. They just want to be themselves. Like a trans woman wearing a sari or going through a certain situation of trans issues in the day-to-day life, and all of a sudden randomly somebody is coming and telling that oh, you are a cross-dresser. That sounds so bad. So I think take it for the perspective, like understand why they are doing it, and it's none of your business to kind of go ahead and ask whether you're cross-dressing or so. So I think that is something which we need to kind of understand. Having said that, the major difference between cross-dressing and drag is, like, drag is always about how exactly how exactly we are exaggerating a certain idea. You not see cross-dressers wearing this kind of mad makeup and going into public. People will be terrified. They'll even kick. So that is something which one need to understand, that it's a different idea altogether. The purpose is different. The intent is different. So one has to kind of understand that, and accordingly work with taking a perspective on whether a person is doing a cross-dressing or they are doing drag.
Totally. I completely agree to you. But like a follow-up question, there is a lot of media which is generated around how fun and hilarious can a man dressing like a woman be. And that idea could be very confusing for somebody who is exploring their identity or exploring what exactly they fit into. So what do you have to think about that?
I do kind of agree with how it's always been shown in the mainstream media that a man who is wearing a dress is always funny, which is so bad. I would say bad because we are again putting one kind of a notion about a dress and showing it in a binary form. Having said that, I think the problem lies with the people who are actually kind of doing it. Let's understand this in a very kind of basic way. Like, if I could say, I'll just draw this part so that I don't mess it up.
As a girl, I difficult is that the angle of eyeliner.
So I'm just kind of ensuring that I don't mess this white portion up. Better. So yeah, I'm right now looking like a Catwoman. Good for me.
It's very artistic.
Yeah. So I thought of this inspired me. This look was inspired by a makeup tutorial by a drag king. I'll kind of do the similar kind of a stuff over here. Let's see how exactly that goes or looks like. Hope I look like a monkey. Yeah, better.
Yeah, now it looks very good.
So this is an inhuman form which I'm kind of trying for the very first time. Hope I scare you.
No, you actually look too pretty to be scared of.
Great. So what I was telling basically about when it comes to the very own idea of how exactly people presume the idea or the act of men dressing up as women as comedy. It comes from a really kind of heteronormative patriarchal ideas of seeing gender. And even in Telugu states, like Telugu cinema, for example, is full of these, misinterpretations of men dressing up as women and calling them either, gay or sometimes even kind of picturing or kind of cracking jokes. There's one wonderful, person, not wonderful but sure, kind of a really crooked person who creates, prank videos by dressing up as a cross dresser and goes into public and kind of telling that they themselves are from the trans community and play kind of pranks or jokes. This is again mockery of what their privilege is doing for existence of queer identities. And, those are something which kind of piss me off quite often. Having said that, when it comes to, it's always, why they find it hilarious or why they make it joke. It's because they don't understand it. So I think the lack of understanding is creating a lot of confusion. Having said that, it's a responsibility of us to kind of question it. Like time and again, if you are pointing out, okay, there are 25 films which are queerphobic, which has this slapstick comedy, raising our voice and kind of articulating it to people who are creating it. So I think that is a better time when we can kind of get a little bit of attention from the people who are making these movies or making these platforms in the very first place, and also telling them that what is the effect of it, like what will happen, what are you causing, what is the harm you're causing. That would also kind of ensure them not to do it. And again, let's call that out in our own space, like when we get the opportunity to write a particular song or do a certain kind of a movie or at least go into a certain space, when these people are present in front of us, let's take this opportunity to call them out and tell that you are this person who created this particular kind of a movie and this is bullshit. So I think that is something which need to be done. But having said that, nowadays people are identifying it. People are getting what they are being served and they question it. So I think that's the beauty aspect of it.
Totally. I think from that, what comes is that how media has shaped both positively and negatively, say Bollywood and even South Indian industry, how they have conceptualized the ideas of gay and lesbians and trans community in the mainstream media through movies and through Netflix series, through OTT. Do you think that has been a lot of push towards the regeneration of gender identity and queer community?
Indeed, I think once the queer stories are told in its own authentic form, that's when the change would happen. And nowadays we are social warriors who are actually going ahead and doing it in social media platforms. Like tomorrow or day after, somebody is going ahead and putting a particular story and tagging that particular person is literally going and telling it on their face that this is bullshit you have created. I need to correct yourself. Like there are a lot of actors who were accountable for whatever they have done. Like if I remember one of the work which yes we just did with this actor called as Ayushmann Khurrana, calling their Vogue cover, the GQ cover, telling it's not gender fluidity. So I think now people are taking that responsibilities and kind of following the problematic situations out, and that is what is helping. That is what is helping them to kind of be in an off-guard position and understand from what part we are coming from, or why are we having this much of issues. So yeah, I think that is that should happen a lot.
Totally. Do you think that the coming of Konkani Sengupta, and I think you posted about that as well, has given a lot of push for the queer community?
Which one? Sorry, I didn't get the question.
The,
The
you
voice got
posted about
disconnected.
her. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, I was talking about Konkana Sengupta and
Yeah, yeah.
she coming out.
Indeed, I think I'm a great fan of Konkana, and I think one of the uh, I actually overheard one of the thing when she was kind of promoting the Gili Pucci, which is the movie where she played a where she played a lesbian person. When I saw that for the very first time, I was watching the interview of her Anupama Chopra, I think so, yeah,
Mhm.
film companion. And as a part of it, when I was kind of listening to the conversation, she said this, like, I don't think I'm a woman. I think I'm gender fluid. And then it was kind of blasted for a while. And then when the recent Hamper Bazaar's cover kind of came in, that's when she kind of openly said that I'm kind of a gender fluid person. And I think she's the very first person to open up in the Bollywood industry, especially having that kind of a power, which is very good, and which is kind of a ray of hope for a lot of people. Now they know that whom to cast when it's a queer character, when it's a non-binary character. So I think that was really helpful to ensure. Now they don't have a option to come back and tell, oh, we don't have queer people to be casted in a movie. There is an example. Won't cast her. So I think that need to be done.
Brilliant. I think with that we have come to an end of the live. It
Okay,
was
give me one quick second. I'm putting lipstick and I'm done with this look.
yeah, totally.
Okay, which lipstick to choose? That's the biggest question. I'll choose this. I'm not satisfied. I will choose one more. So I think I'm kind of done. Bear with me for one quick second where I put my wig in cup.
Totally.
Yeah. I think now I look gorgeous.
Do you
This
want to
came really good. I didn't expect this to come in this way, but yeah, I think it's kind of matching. It's giving me the tigress vibe.
describe your look for us?
Sorry,
Do you want to describe
I didn't get you. Sorry. Again, I kind of missed.
I'm saying, could you describe your look for us?
Yeah, definitely. And this is something which I kind of made it, for you all. So basically, the message is to be fearless and be tigress on whenever you're kind of coming into social media, and be a little bit mindful and know your rights so that you can kind of counter it whenever it's needed.
Brilliant. I think this could not have been anything better. Um, any final remarks for the community and for people who are working on cyberspace and are trying to build their career online?
Yeah. So one thing which I kind of really wanted to tell other people is like, just ensure that you know your rights, or you ensure that you are conscious when it comes to social media in the very first place, and understand that if you're not kind of you should not be afraid unless and until you are making a crime, like as of killing somebody or harming somebody. If you are in your own space, you're definitely not a criminal. So that is something which you need to understand, and have trust in your own self, because people tend to lose trust when they are kind of being cheated, or when they are kind of being I would say pushed through a lot of things. So I think one need to have that trust, and once they have it, it kind of makes it more easier. So I think that is something which we need to be done, and I hope people understand, learn about the things through the conference, which is up on April 23rd and 24th, and also the conversations which the cyber blog is kind of doing for the rest of the time till 23rd and 24th. They listen to the conversations, listen to the perspective of what people are bringing in, and learn from it so that they can apply it in their own lives and be more careful as well as more aware about situations.
Totally beautiful. And after the session, we'll be putting a lot of support groups in our story. Go follow them and check them out if you need any help, physically, mentally, emotionally. They're all there for you. If you have any complaints to put forward, there's a helpline number on our Instagram page. Go send us requests. And with that, thank you so much. It's been great talking to you, Patruni, and I hope we can stay in touch, and we'll see you when the panel comes forward.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And love to you.
Thank you.
Okay.